Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. If you are new here, my name's Donna and lovely to see you. I today thought I would use some pre-made ephemera bases to just kind of see what I can come up with. So I have an awful lot of stuff on my desk. Last year I took part in, did we call it the full book challenge or the whole book challenge? I can't remember. It was hosted by Tanya at Tatty Treasures. She is a lovely channel. I'm sure you know who she is. She's got a lovely Facebook group as well. There were quite a number of us and we all took part doing a certain number of pages each, so that over the month, I think it was, we had used up a 500-page book. I think that's what the general gist was. And I was tidying up the other day and found some other things we did. Now, I found these really cute dinky envelopes. Can't remember how they are made, but I don't think they are difficult. I thought I could do something with those. I also have found some pre-made bases, journal card bases, which just need backing. So they are good. I have found, kind of opens like that into it's like a booklet. Then it opens up into journaling space there. So I could do something with that. These are corner pockets, which I remember being really easy to make, but I have absolutely no idea how they are made. But they would be nice and simple, just to kind of decorate up. What's this? Oh yeah, that's just like a little booklet that you can put inside a pocket. And then we have one of those flip outs that I was doing the other day. That's already basically done for me. And oh, another one as well. So there's lots of kind of blank book page bases there. I've also got this that I found as I was going through just my, my blanks. And this would be perfect. It's perfect colours for this journal. It does say do not open until the 25th of December. I could cover that up, but the colours and everything, they go brilliantly. I've got a couple of journaling cards there already. This is another great base that I could use. That would fit into the journal really well. I could maybe do something like that because I actually don't like that there. So I've just, why make something new when I've already got things? I've also found some library pockets. There's another one of these wallet things, which I think might be a bit big. Oh, it could work. And I've also found one of these, which I made probably about a year ago. That's a little bit too big. So, I've got options. This was going to be the pocket that went on the inside of the original journal. So there's a pocket here, like that, and then there's one here. So I could do something with that as well. That would go there quite nicely. So I've options. I do have options. So I'm going to have a think of what I can do with what I've got, because I've also found this is the negative to some die cutting that I was doing. I thought that would look nice on a page, on like a plainer page, maybe something like that. So I've got that as well, and I also found my stenciled papers. So the blue ones I don't think would work, but I've got some black and brown, which is nice. That one probably wouldn't work. I really like this house. I want to use that somewhere. And I really like this little girl. This is from my spooky photos pack. I really like her, so I wouldn't mind doing something with her as well. So I'm going to have a look at what I've got, what I can do, and I shall be 2 seconds and we'll get started. Right, so I have found this strip of paper, which is on a nice thick photo paper. So I was thinking if I could maybe use this as a belly band and use the smaller of the envelope. So I would probably have to do it that end so that I don't cover too much of that leaf. I could have that as a belly band, stick this down, keep this fastened somehow, and then I've got a little hidden space there and a belly band underneath. And this is already done for me. I'm so sorry. If I could remember how to do this, I will show you. You will probably or possibly know better than me. But I thought I could do this, and then I've got a belly band and a little envelope. So let's start off by doing that. I don't even need to back this in anything fancy because it's been stuck on, but I could do with strengthening it all up. So let's move everything out of the way. I feel like I'm going to need a cup of tea soon. Pen. Okay. Right, I'm going to cut that and see what that looks like. This page is slightly shorter than the one behind it, so I'm just going to lift it so I can see what I'm doing. Yeah, because the one behind it is that really thin tissue, and I think it may have just moved slightly when I put it in. So that's a perfect fit for there. We just need to decide whether we want it there, whether I want it there. I want it in the first signature, definitely. I don't want to hide all the texture up on there. So that's nice and plain. I don't really want it, again, I like all that, and I could write on there. No. Could put it on that one. Be quite nice with the tree. That I don't want covering up. Or there's the other side here, which might be quite nice. We've got the orange tree there. Or do I want it here to lift that a little bit? I think I want it on that one. I always do this. Can't decide and then change my mind. Yeah, let's go for this one. So there is that. I'm going to get something scrap to back this onto, just to make it thicker. So glue everywhere, because this, where it's been folded, is a lot thicker than this. So if I was to back it all, then put something else over the top of the cream, that should then balance out the thickness, just make it a little bit stronger. Very, very gloopy glue today. Oh, well, that explains a little bit more how we do it. So we start with a square, turn it diagonally, fold it in half, fold that back, fold that in, tuck that in. There we go. So that's that question answered. To be careful not to cut into the envelope. I'm glad I've just discovered how to do these. Completely by accident, but... So what you could do, I presume, I suppose, is you could glue here so that your things aren't falling through. I'm glad I didn't, because I wouldn't have realised how to do it. I am now just going to dry this off a little bit so that I can fold it without it creasing, because I want to get on with the back of this flap. Oh no, hang on, I've done the wrong one. It was the smaller one, wasn't it, I was going to use? Right, doesn't go to waste, I can still use this somewhere. So I'm going to keep that to one side. I'm going to do the same, back this one, get it dried off, and then we will do some collaging. I think what I may do, so that I'm not adding too much bulk, is actually use some of this pattern paper. I've put crosses on each bit that I want to cover, and thankfully, since we haven't glued this together, it'd be quite easy now to just cover those bits. So I can kind of just do that, get some glue on, get it covered, and be nice and quick. So, looking for a rubber. I don't really want to see this. So I'll get that rubbed out. And the easiest thing, I think, would be to actually glue straight onto here. Pop this straight down onto here. Fold that over. I hope you are all well. I have just recorded a Kofi member video, which I've tried to upload to Kofi, and I'm not able to without it being linked back to YouTube. I have to put the YouTube link in. So I am in the process of uploading it to YouTube in the hopes that I can keep it private, and then I can just copy the link into which way did that go? I can just copy the link then into Kofi. So fingers crossed that works. It's like that, wasn't it? Yeah, that looks nice then, because it's not too much. It's just enough. It works well with the colours. So let's get the rest of that down. Yeah, and the reason I have done a video is because I have a new add-on kit to my winter blues coming out, and Kofi members will have early access to it. So I wanted to do a video where I showed the Kofi members the kit. I'm hoping to give members a week's early access to it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it, all the files loaded, uploaded and ready by then, but that's what I'm hoping. So if you are a Kofi member, keep your eyes out for that video, because hopefully hopefully it works and you can have an early flick through of the kits. So that's that. I'm going to leave that for now. I'm going to do this bit here. I'm going to make sure I rub that out properly. I'm just going to bring it down slightly because you do see this bit. So I think this might be a good piece to use. So yeah, and then everybody else, the Winter Blues add-on kit will be live on the 1st of November. And the reason I've done an add-on kit is because last year sorry, I'm concentrating, I'm not really making much sense, am I? Last year I got COVID and I couldn't use the kit as much as I wanted. So instead of, I'm wondering whether to fold that over. I could just fold that. So instead of making a brand new kit, I wanted to do an add-on because I really wanted to use the kit. It's, I think, my most favourite kit that I've ever done, apart from the retro Halloween pictures that I did this year, which I love. But yeah, I really, really did like the Winter Blues kit. I was really gutted when I got ill and couldn't use it. I was doing, were any of you following me, subscribed to me when I did Winter Wednesdays? Because it was the Winter Blues kits that I was doing. So I'm going to start redoing Winter Wednesdays because I really feel like I missed out. I'm going to get this dry so that I can fold everything back in. It's all dry. I've inked the bits that I'm going to be able to see. The bit that's going to be here, I'm going to leave as book page because I think the contrast is quite nice. And I've also just rounded the top of the envelope there. So to pop it back together, up in half, this bit down, this bit coming across. And I'm just going to make sure I re-straighten it and make sure those folds are nice and straight. And that bit comes, I think that's the bit that goes inside. Like that. And there's that envelope. Now you could either leave it unglued because an idea that I was thinking is that you could actually have journaling space there. I'm not that bothered about that, so I'm going to glue mine across the bottom. Then you get a pocket. Let me find something. You get this. You get like the opening there, where that's folded. You get the tiny little opening there if you want to. You get one there, and then you get this one at the back as well. And I suppose if you wanted to put that on as like a 3-side, you'd have that as well. So that, how many pockets is that? That is, for such a tiny little envelope, you've got 1, 2, 3, and 4, a possible 5. And then if you're having a belly band, 6. So, really versatile little envelope. And now I know how to do it. Now, what I'm thinking of doing is popping that. I want something there to keep my envelope closed. It can either be Velcro. Before I glue it, I could put a magnet. Or I could make a little slit, or I could put a circle. So there's a few options. So I have been having a go with some magnets, but they're just too strong, so I'm not going to bother. It's a bit of a faff really for something this small. I am just going to tidy up where I had some glue and cut back around there. It's good pattern paper because if you do mess up, if you just put, you can very easily cover your mistake just by cutting some more, a bit more ink. Right, so I need to think of a way then of closing this. So I'm just going to use a circle, I think, like a 1/2 inch circle or an inch circle, or find an image from the kit. I've got some circles here. I was thinking I could just use one of the neutral ones. These are actually from what I cut the other day. Do you know when we were doing the paper where we made the leaves? So I could do that. It's a little bit long. It needs to be able to. What about if I used a smaller one? I want one in maybe one of the neutral colours. That might be a nice one. So we've got an orange one there that we could maybe use. Yeah, that would work. And then we can just open that up. So let's go for that. So what colour do we want? We can have this one. That might look a bit blendy with that. Could do that one. We've got the orange one. Yeah, let's go for the orange one. So I shall just get that inked. I like these circles really defined around the edges. I know I probably ink quite a lot darker than the average person, but I just really like the outline. let's close up this envelope. And we'll get this stuck down, so I'm going to do just halfway with glue, maybe just slightly less than halfway. To move this, terrified I'm going to get glue on there. Stick that down. Yeah, just making sure it can slip under there, no problem. So we'll just keep that like that for now. And the next thing we need to do, I'm wondering whether to make this belly band like a flip up belly band. So I have that on the back, which is ideal. If I just scored there, I could kind of make it like a flip up. But then I would need something else to keep it closed, wouldn't I? So that I could put something into it. So I could put a strip. I need to think, there's so much thinking going on today, isn't there? So if I was to do something like this, have a strip going across that the belly band kind of tucks into, but then it can lift up so that this can still be used. That's my idea, and then that would sit on there. I need to think. So I've got this piece of tape, it's just linen that I've put some ink onto with some sticky back plastic on the back. So if I was to do something with that, it's quite flexible, so if I just backed it on some more cotton so that, you know, this doesn't stick, I could use that, make this a bit shorter, and then that would just tuck in, and that might be a nice interactive aspect. So if I just cut a piece of cotton the same length, that would, let me get the sticky back off here. I was doing this, you know, when I made the fabric tape with the wet wipes, the dried up wet wipes, I just had a piece of tape and linen left over, so I just stuck it on here. Right, sticky. Put that on there, so we're covering the stickiness. Doesn't matter about the end, because the end needs to be stuck down anyway. I could make that a tiny bit shorter, and I think it might be quite nice because the fabric is flexible. It might just help, you know, you could kind of pull it up and down a little bit to help the belly band go in and out. So I think that is what I'll do. I think I'm going to score from the top to help it fold, so I'll do that. It's 1/2 inch too much. That would sit there like that. I think you would probably need 1/2 inch, wouldn't you? Let me do 1/2 inch. That would sit there like that. That would lift up like that. So how much would I need off the bottom? I'm going to do 1/2 inch to begin with. So we've got that. That would fit there. And then that should come out of there, open up like that. So I think that's what I'm going to do. And I do want to just snip this corner just a little bit, just keep it tidy. And do I want to snip these? Do I want to round them? I think maybe if I rounded them but just did a very small a very small round. Right. Yeah, I just think it looks neat, a bit neater, that's all. So I shall get to inking. For now, I don't think I'm going to put any journaling space on there. I think I'm just going to leave it decorative because we have all this here. I can always add it at a later date. And I'm just going to work out now where I want this stuck. So probably about there. Is that low enough? And then that would go there. Right, I'm going to get this stuck because I'm faffing about. Belly band stuck down, and I'm thinking I might like to now stamp onto this just to give it a tiny bit of decoration. So I'm just going to decide which way up I probably would want it. So I'm thinking maybe that way. So I'm just going to, this is a stamp I got just from a magazine. It might have been Creative Creations, if that's actually the name of the magazine, I can't remember. But I just thought I'd do some stamping on here just to bring it to life a little bit. And I'm just going to randomly put these leaves. I'm using the archival permanent so that it won't smudge off. I'm just going to kind of do it as though you would see like a repeating pattern. So some bits hanging off, some bits on. Okay, so I'm liking the look of that. I'll just stamp this off. And because it is permanent, what I tend to do is use the archival ink cleaner. So I will get the excess off there and then use the archival ink cleaner. Now, it might not be as visible on here because it does, these do seem to have cleaned well, but on some stamps, they just stay black. So I prefer just to clean them off and give them a bit of a helping hand before I put them away. So yeah, you can see it appears clear, but once you've put the archival cleaner on and you stamp it again, you know, more comes off. So what I'll do is stamp it off, use the archival cleaner, give it a few seconds, stamp it back off, and then just use a wet wipe. Give it one final wipe just to remove any residue of the cleaner, and then just pop it to one side to dry. I was thinking of inking all around here. I do have the archival ink in potting soil. I don't really want to use the oxide because obviously if that was to get wet, it could spoil. So what I think I might do is just maybe get a spare piece of linen and a spare one of these and test it. So I'm going to get whatever ink's off there. There's not too much on there. I'm going to use this and just test it on a bit of this to see what it looks like. I don't really want it to look dirty, but I thought just kind of trying to tie it in a little bit. So that's the potting soil. And it's only minimal, but I think it gives it a little something. So I'm just going to go then around this edge and just smudge it in slightly. just to give it some definition. And I also have some of these really tiny little split pins. So I was thinking of adding one of those either side, just securing them at the back, and then it would just give them a little bit extra as well. So what I was thinking of doing is piercing a hole. So about there. Let me move that just in case. So about there. Put this through. And if I turn it so that the little prongs sit on the, so put that through, and it kind of makes it just, which one's the top? That side. It just gives it a little bit extra, I feel. Yeah, so I'm going to do that on the other side. Okay, so they are on there. I'm going to get them as flat as I can. So I'm just going to just press them. Then a little bit of tape. Just so they don't catch. And then we just need to work out where we want to glue this. So I want to just maybe come up just slightly from the bottom of the page, but looking at it, if I line it up with the end of this leaf here and the beginning of this leaf here, just bring the glue in slightly. That should give me enough room. So all I'm going to do is use the tacky glue, and I'm going to put a thin line underneath at the bottom. And I want to stop just short of there, so about there, and I want to stop just short of there, so and what I want to make sure is that I can still lift this and that I've not glued it in, which I can, so that's good. And the last thing we want to glue on is our envelope. So I was thinking of putting that about there and gluing on the actual belly band so that I get the position correct. So up to there and there, I can just about see. And I'm going to do it on 3 sides because I want to make a little pocket on the belly band. And I'm going to put a spare piece of paper under so that I don't stick onto the page behind. And let's just put that on. So this is how our interactive belly band is looking. We've got our envelope here. This is a pocket. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 pockets there. We could actually probably use that as a pocket if we really wanted to. Then the belly band is also a pocket in itself, which is held into place like that. This is glued at the bottom so nothing can risk falling out, but then we can also open that up and we can still use our page. So I'm happy with that. Next time we will do some journaling cards and perhaps some little bits that can go into there. But for now, I think this has taken long enough, so I will say goodbye. Thank you for joining me. I hope you got a little bit of inspiration from that and maybe a few ideas that you can try yourself. And I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.